How's it going, chums? For today's episode, I thought we'd look at sidearms. Having a good pistol loadout in your loadout is a great addition to a very solid primary weapon, especially if your perks are running Ghost in Warzone. So starting things off with the X16 monolithic suppressor Vanguard Elite barrel, the Cronin LP 945 mini reflex because it has the least amount of sway of all of the optics that I tried, match grade trigger, and the X16 stock, which creates a ridiculously dead aim. That just reduces your recoil so much. You can see the accuracy, the range, and the control of the gun have spiked quite a bit in the green there. Big shout out to my homies Matt and Sheldon who helped me out with some alternative loadouts for these pistols. As you can see, this loadout, the change is the green laser and the GI mini reflex, which just helps a little bit when you're aiming down sights. That activates the laser and you can see where you're aiming. It also greatly reduces your ADS time, so that's quite a big perk for it. And as a third alternative, this loadout replaces the laser with the FMJ. It should help you get the shot if you are tracking someone and they happen to run behind a wall, run behind a box. I'm not sure that this will work if they're running behind trucks or anything like that. Next up is the 1911, quite a lightweight weapon and quite a good fire rate, but not the best when it comes to taking someone down outside of hardcore game modes. My loadout, monolithic suppressor, match grade barrel, again the Cronin LP 945 mini reflex, the match grade trigger, and stippled grip tape to keep the sucker quite stable. As an alternative, this is the loadout that includes the green laser, the Solo Zero optics mini reflex sight, and it kills the ADS time so that the gun scopes in really quickly and quite accurately. As an alternative, stippled grip tape put back on the gun, optic taken off, laser taken off, and sleight of hand put in its place. Sleight of hand also has the perk of reducing your time to mount, get into position quicker, and you get on target quicker. I don't spend a lot of time mounted in Warzone with handguns, so I'm not sure if that is actually a perk that you would consider when you're doing this, especially if it is for Warzone. But in terms of multiplayer, it's quite a cool loadout. It's a nice alternative to what I have on mine. Arguably one of the most infuriating hand cannons to come across in this game, especially when it's paired with snake shot. This is the 357. My loadout is the compensator, silver ordnance barrel, the Cronin scope, match grade trigger, and the Lockwood custom stock, just to kill the recoil of the gun and give you more control. It really does create quite a dead aim with the gun. Where you aim is most likely where that bullet's going to land, so make sure that you're aiming at the head. As an alternative to that loadout, this is the 357 long barrel with the green laser and snake shot attached to it. You really are just carrying a very short shotgun with you when you have it loaded out like this. No words. I have no words for snake shot on this thing. And as an alternative, compensator taken off, optic taken off, ammunition taken off, stippled grip tape put back on, and the sleight of hand put on. What you really want is to be able to reload quite quickly. It's one of those things where you obviously have to let go of certain loadouts. You can't put everything on a gun. Sleight of hand is actually probably one of the best things you could put on apart from FMJ under your perks, spending less time reloading and more time shooting and downing enemies. By now I'm sure you are no stranger to the M19. This is the loadout that I was running in multiplayer, which you can take and transition across to Warzone, although I am pretty sure none of us want to be playing with this gun after we land. With everybody shooting at us in the sky already, this is not the gun that you want to spend your whole match playing with. Monolithic suppressor, XRKL super barrel, the Cronin LP 945 optic, match grade trigger, and 32 round mags. As an alternative to that, taking off the optic, replacing it with the tac laser, removing the ammunition extension and replacing it with frangible wounding, which delays the healing effect a little bit. So when you are hitting your opponent, they're not healing as quickly as they normally would. As an alternative, green laser is back on the gun, only activated when you ADS, and again, it's got the perk of reducing ADS time, and the GI mini reflex put on instead of having a perk. Doesn't really increase the damage too much. You can see down there, no change to the damage rating on this gun, but fire rate, range, accuracy, and control are increased a little bit. Not gonna lie to you, this gun is not one of my favorites. There's no denying that if you're landing headshots with this gun, you're the one walking away from your gunfights. My loadout is the monolithic suppressor, forged tac enforcer barrel, Cronin LP 945, match grade trigger, stippled grip tape, just to reduce the ADS time a little bit more, get you scoped in, get you shooting quicker after having sprinted. As an alternative though, replacing the trigger with the lightweight trigger, which increases your fire rate a little bit, adding the 10 round mags, replacing the optic with that gives you more ammunition and a quicker fire rate so you can land more shots. This is an alternative loadout that I think is sometimes ignored. I like running optics on my weapons, but for sidearms, these are really loadouts for when you're close enough to be killing someone. Medium to short range distance, I would say. As an alternative, green laser is back on for when you ADS, and again, it's got that perk that just pulls your ADS time down a little bit, and replacing the trigger with the match grade trigger, putting the optic back on it. I mean, it's a sniper rifle at this point. It's really cross map. It's ridiculous. In Warzone, I think I would probably not put the Forged Tac Enforcer barrel on there. This is my favorite handgun by far, and I was super upset when they buffed it. My loadout, though, is not the loadout that's affected by the buff, so that's okay. Desperado Pro Compensator, MK1 Extended Barrel, Cronin LP 945 Mini Reflex, Match Grade Trigger, and the XRK Speed Grip. This loadout of the gun, quite quick to ADS. It's also not the burst mod, and it's not a Kimbo. I'm not such a big fan of it. I like to be able to ADS. And that being said, even with this loadout, you don't need to put the optic on. As an alternative, this loadout includes the monolithic suppressor, the MK3 burst mod, which is the barrel that got the buff. So the spread from this barrel has been increased. The FTAC GX stock, which is the front grip, which turns this into the 93R, match grade trigger, and 21 round mags. When you're running that burst mod, you're firing off 3 rounds at a time, which means in a single clip, you've got 7 shots. Seven times you can pull that trigger. So just keep that in mind when you are using it, and if you are going to put that burst mod on the gun. And as an alternative to that, monolithic suppressor, MK1 extended barrel, lightweight trigger to push the fire rate up, 27 round mags so that you are stacked, and the XRK speed grip to get you shooting quicker out of sprint. But nothing that I want to say about not enjoying playing with this gun. It's probably the first one that I would get Obsidian. These aren't definitive ultimate loadouts for these guns. There's loadouts that will appeal to your playstyle, which is the point of giving you 3 different loadouts for each class. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, give it a share. If you didn't like it, leave it in the comments. Let me know what your qualms are. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Stay frosty.